characters. Could they be voiced by the same person? Nah, they sound too different. It can't be. Wait, what's this? Gasp! Taka and King are voiced by the same person? I would have ever guessed! But they sound so different. Wow, Sean Chiplock has an impressive range, huh? Huh? The video's starting? Right, of course. Hello, everyone! Welcome back to my channel. I'm your host, Kataka Cat Heathrose. Anyway, like the new sprites? Yep, I got some new sprites. I switched from Gacha Life 2 to Gacha Nebula because Gacha Nebula is better, let's face it. And I gave Kataka a new design. Doesn't she look pretty? I know, she's beautiful. Today, I'm going to teach you a very important lesson. So sit down and grab some popcorn, please. Alright. Drugs are bad, okay? And that's what these 50 drug PSAs I have complied will be aiming to tell you. More importantly, because I'm too lazy to explain it myself. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you the top 50 drug PSAs. Also, before we start this video, someone in the comments of my last video said that I sounded like Nifty from Has-Been Hotel. So, in response to that, sometimes I kill mother bugs in front of their children as a warning to others. Anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the show.
Listen up, misters, and you too, sisters. Let's talk about something that's a real brain twister. Drugs, drugs, drugs. Which are good, which are bad. Drugs, drugs, drugs. Ask your mom or ask your dad. Drink a little water. Take the doctor's pill. Drugs can make you better when you're feeling ill. Drugs, drugs, drugs. Which are good, which are bad. Drugs, drugs, drugs. Ask your mom or ask your dad. There's lots of other drugs that sure have a...
This is crack, rock cocaine. It isn't glamorous or cool or kid stuff. It's the most addictive kind of cocaine, and it can kill you. What's really bad is nobody knows how much it takes. So every time you use it, you risk dying. It isn't worth it. Look, everybody wants to be cool, but doing it with crack isn't just wrong. Could be dead wrong.
Yep, you knew I had to start this countdown with this fucking masterpiece. I'm sorry, but if I see Pee Wee Herman of all people telling me not to do crack, I'll feel like I'm on a drug trip already. Also, contrary to popular belief, this wasn't made as an addition to his community service after jacking off in a porno feeder. Common misconception. In fact, I used to think so too.
So Sarah, what's going on here? Sarah? Sarah?
She won't answer you. Or she can't. This is the way it's been since she started smoking pot. She's all lazy and boring and... You know, we used to have so much fun together.
And now?
This is what we do.
The reason why this PSA is even on this list is because I wanted to be silly and roast the hell out of it before I became serious later on in this countdown. You know your PSA is infamously bad when Family Guy of all shows makes fun of it. Also, I don't know how controversial this might be, but I don't even like Family Guy that much, even though I referenced it at the beginning of this video. South Park is the superior adult cartoon.
I'm Michael Jordan. McDonald's restaurants have given me this time to talk to you about something we both really care about, kids. Kids are the reason McDonald's sponsors their Get It Straight program, a national drug awareness effort. McDonald's is so concerned about this problem, you won't be seeing their usual commercials during this show because McDonald's believes it deserves your undivided attention. Now I'd like to speak just to the kids for a moment. Unfortunately, when people like myself, your teachers or your parents, try to talk to you about drugs, you think we're preaching at you, and sometimes it turns you off. Though I never used drugs, when people try to tell me things for my own good, it turned me off too. But I found out something. Even though they haven't experienced what you're experiencing now, a lot of that preaching was worth it. Because when it comes to drugs, experience is not the best teacher, but growing up is a very good teacher. That's what this program is all about, living long enough to grow up. Think about this. Many of you using drugs out there now are under 18. Do you realize that at 18 you have lived only 1/4 of your life? When you're using drugs, you're only cheating yourself out of the chance to find out who you really can be. And believe me, if you don't use drugs, you can just about be anything you want to be. When I was 18, my future was just a dream. But if I'd been on drugs, that dream would have never come true. Listen, you got at least 3/4 of your life to go. That's 3 more lifetimes to you. So don't blow it. Don't do drugs. If you're doing it, stop it. Get some help. McDonald's wants you to give yourself a chance to find out all the wonderful things you really can be. And so do I.
Yeah, this PSA is only slightly better than the Pee Wee Herman one, because at least you can take Michael Jordan somewhat seriously, despite his terrible acting. But the fact that this PSA was made by McDonald's kind of ruins it, because we all know that McDonald's doesn't care. Stick to basketball, Michael.
Spots, rotten teeth, depression, anxiety attacks, personality changes, paranoia. Take speed, ecce or acid and you can develop any of them.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't like this PSA. It's incredibly overrated, and I always get befuddled on how it usually ends up on everyone's #1 and scariest PSAs when there are more genuinely scary PSAs out there. I'll admit, this PSA is unnerving, but the effect on the photo at the end kinda ruins it. Come on, people, this is your #1 pick for scariest PSA. I agree with everything Zach Gar said. This PSA is overrated.
Hey, little dude, send your mama and daddy out of the room. I gotta get you up on this. You know who I am. Snake, dealing in weed, coke, crack, your choice. Take one hit and you'll do anything to cop more. Steal from your mama, lie, cheat on your homeboys. But hey, that's the price you pay when you deal with dudes like me. Now, some folks will tell you that I'm dealing in poison. But hey, do I look like the kind of guy that would do that to a kid like you? Yes.
Yeah, the Snake Man might be a bit uncanny, but I don't find this PSA to be rather scary. Effective? Yes. Uncanny? Yes. Scary? Well, depends on who you ask.
A, B, D, D, E, F, D, H, I, D, D, T, D, A, D, 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 A, D, 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 E, F, D.
Okay, despite this being more of a silly PSA, this is genuinely disturbing. In this PSA, Bob shows us one of the harmful side effects of doing drugs, that being brain damage. If the threat of brain damage won't stop you from doing drugs, then I don't know what will.
Okay, last time. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yep, you knew it was only a matter of time before the first ever partnership for a drug-free America PSA got onto this list. This is a simple concept, really. Just a man cracking an egg into a frying pan as the egg fries, saying that it's your brain on drugs. The metaphor here is that when you do drugs, your brain becomes fried, and you are no longer able to think straight. There's also a remake of this PSA with a woman who instead of frying the egg, takes it one step further and smashes the egg, along with some other stuff in the room. The metaphor for that PSA is that drugs not only destroy you, but also your life, whether it affects your family or takes away all your money. Personally, I like this one more. This isn't a scary PSA, and it might be a bit dated, but it was definitely effective for its time.
I do coke, so I can work longer. So I can earn more. So I can do more coke. So I can work longer. So I can earn more. So I can do more coke. So I can work longer. So I can earn more. So I can do more coke. So I can work longer.
Always chasing rainbows.
Doing drugs is like doing a big circle. The man in this PSA does coke so he can work longer, so he can make money, so he can do more coke. And he just keeps going in circles and repeating the sentiment until he disappears. I feel like the ending is trying to tell us that he slowly died while in that endless loop. Also, the song at the end is I'm Always Chasing Rainbows by Judy Garland. I know that song from Hazbin Hotel. It has nothing to do with the PSA, just thought I'd mention that.
There's this thing going around called sniffing. You think you're getting high, but the dizzy, fuzzy feeling is just what happens when your brain doesn't get oxygen. The chemicals get in the way. So it's like you're not breathing. That's how sniffing causes brain damage and death. So when you think you're sniffing, your brain thinks you're drowning. And your brain is pretty much right.
This PSA tells us about a problem that was big back in the 90s, where drug users inhaled drugs by inhaling them through their noses. And not even drugs, like glue, Sharpies. People still do that, and it's still pretty weird. And this PSA's metaphor for that is like drowning, because when you sniff, your brain doesn't get any oxygen, just like if you were drowning. Though, one question remains. Why doesn't the girl just break a window or something? I shouldn't look into it too much.
It's amazing what you can accomplish when you're on meth.
Who would just want to pluck out their eyebrows and cause themselves immense pain for fun? Yeah, no one would do that on a normal basis. This PSA really does show that drugs, or in this case meth, will make you do something you would never do when clean. And that bloody brow. Ugh. Also, this was a collab between Partnership and Montana Meth Project. Crossover! This PSA is just uncomfortable in the worst ways possible. That baby could have gotten seriously injured by that knife. Or worse. Ugh. Just thinking about it makes me sick to my stomach. And when they start chewing on it and grabbing it by the blade. Ugh! I know this is just a PSA, but it had me worried for the baby's safety the entire time. Where is this child's parents? Why do they just have stray knives lying around in the kitchen for babies to grab? Someone call CPS! This baby needs help!
Welcome to heroin. Enjoy your stay.
Yeah, I think this PSA speaks for itself with the metaphor it's showing. Once you start doing heroin, or any kind of drugs in general, you get trapped, just like you would under thin ice. You think you can get out, but you can't. Nothing much to say regarding this PSA, but the metaphor is solid. Next entry.
No one knows how much brain damage the designer drug ecstasy causes. It's still being tested. Take ecstasy, and you're the guinea pig.
Yeah, I don't find this PSA as scary as others on this list, but I still find it quite disturbing. This man forcefully being tested on with heroin is just... ugh. But it's a metaphor, as he was taking the ecstasy by himself, making himself a guinea pig through the horrible drug.
В этой жизни надо попробовать все.
Наркотик точно так же. Держит крепко, затягивает навсегда.
Seeing the man in this PSA accidentally hang himself as a metaphor to getting addicted to drugs? I mean, really? Couldn't you have picked a less disturbing metaphor, Russia? Also, the piss. Yuck. Solid PSA overall, though.
Give me money! I don't have any money. Shut up! Stop looking at me!
This wasn't supposed to be your life!
Oh, yes. The last thing you would want to see while at a laundromat trying to do your laundry is a drugged-out man barging in and threatening you if you don't give him any money. But this isn't just any drugged-up man, as at the end of this PSA, we see him running up to one of the people at the laundromat who was a teenage boy and starts shaking him, saying that this wasn't supposed to be his life, and we're left with the prediction that the boy will become addicted to drugs soon, and he's getting a warning from his future self before he can get addicted. Did it work? Well, that's for you to decide. Also, the baby crying. I'm one to get very nervous when I hear babies and little kids crying, making this PSA more disturbing for me.
Yeah, my parents think I'm sleeping at your house. Yeah, I'm just jumping in the shower. Okay, bye. Don't do it. Don't do it.
This is kind of like the laundromat PSA I covered in the last entry, but much more disturbing. This time, this teenage girl who was in the shower gets a warning from her future self, who was bloodied and covered in scars, to not do drugs. This PSA is scary, but if you have a morbid sense of humor like me, you might say something about the girl being on her. Just to be on the safe side here, because I know YouTube likes age-restricting videos for no reason. Time of the month when you first see the blood.
Look at me, busy as a bee. Where'd I get all this energy? Oh man, man. I don't sleep and I don't eat, but I've got the cleanest house on the street. Oh man, man. Get these hairs all out of my face. Get these bugs all out of my place. One more hit, no time to waste. Oh man, man.
Well, the song of this PSA is a catchy jingle about meth and how it makes you more energetic. We see the real side of meth when the woman in this PSA starts pulling out her own hair, digging into her skin, and hallucinating because of the meth addiction. No matter what someone says about meth, it's dangerous. It will not give you energy, and it will make you a shell of your former self. This PSA is solid, but there is one PSA on this countdown that I find to just be a little bit better.
These days, most people who get addicted to heroin start by snorting it. They think it's not as dangerous as using the needle. But the fact is, that's right where you'll end up.
If you watched the first video I made on this channel, you would know by now that I have an aversion to needles, especially when seeing them up close. Yeah, even for someone who's afraid of needles, doing heroin will make you so desperate that you will resort to a needle just to get a fix. Yikes.
Hey, what about me?
Hey, what about you?
Oh, come on. Give her some. Yeah, give me some.
All right. You want meth, kid? Here's your meth. And here's your meth dealer. And your meth boyfriends. And your meth baby. And don't forget your meth face.
Yeah, this PSA really shows the path you will spiral down if you do meth. Meth comes with everything you need. A meth dealer, a meth boyfriend, a meth baby, and a grotesque face. It's a package deal you do not want.
Hey, you ever thought about taking drugs?
I don't know. Well, I never really thought about it.
Think hard. The first hit's free, but you find me when you need more. The choice is yours.
What do you think? Nah, this jerk's not worth the time.
A message from Concerned Children's Advertisers.
Okay, working with the puppets here to make a solid drug PSA really worked out. Go on, UCCA. I think I really find this PSA scary because of how uncanny the puppets look, and the fact that the screen flashes with real pictures of real people who had their lives ruined by drugs, and the close-up to the dealer's face at the end. CCA, we're not playing around here, but go on those kids for declining the offer.
There's a lot of stories about the stuff that gets into street drugs. So if you're afraid of what's been done to them, wait till you see what they do to you.
A message from Concerned Children's Advertisers.
Yes, I do qualify this as a drug PSA. Fight me. Like I said, my aversion to needles makes it extremely difficult for me to see a needle up close like that, especially in a dirty setting like the one in this PSA. All that icky stuff in that needle. Ugh.
Son, I figured when you were old enough I'd talk to you about drugs. I'd tell you they're nothing but poison. Tell you to stay away from the garbage that pushes that junk. Only I never figured that I ought to be telling that to a 13-year-old.
If you don't teach your kids to say no to drugs, it's as good as saying yes.
This poor dad. We see him presumably talking to his son, telling him when he was older they would talk about drugs, and the dad would warn him how deadly they were. But then we see that he's talking to his dad's son, saying that he never figured to have this conversation when he was 13, which was the age that drugs took his life. The dad feels terrible for not telling him sooner, because he thought that he could wait until he was older. And now, his son is dead by the monster that has drugs. This PSA teaches us that you should teach your kids about drugs as soon as you are able to prevent anything like this ever happening. This is a solid PSA, but there is one PSA on this list that has the same concept that I find to be scarier.
薫はひらがなしか書けなくなりました。レミはビルから飛び降りました。ドラッグが君たちを殺していく。なんで
Yeah, this PSA shows all the things drugs can do to you, mentally or physically. They can mess with your brain, they can cause you to die. For example, the druggie, one of them, in this PSA, Remy, died by suicide by jumping off a building. Was it intentional or unintentional? That's for you to decide. Drugs do indeed kill teens, mentally and physically.
When she was 6, after a few scrapes and tumbles, her dad taught her how to ride a two-wheeler. When she was 9, he helped her build a telescope that could see the moons of Jupiter. When she was 14, after a lot of giggling and giving up, her mom finally taught her how to hit a wicked two-handed backhand. All through her growing up, Susie's parents taught her well. But for all their love and attention, there was one lesson left untaught. Susie's parents never taught her about drugs. They never told her that drugs maim, drugs kill. So Susie learned one final lesson on her own. When you don't say no to your kids about drugs, it's the same as saying yes.
Yeah, Susie had everything she needed growing up. She learned all the essentials. She learned how to ride a bike, build a telescope, how to play tennis. Her parents were loving, and they taught Susie well. But there was one lesson they forgot to teach her, that being not to do drugs. Susie had to learn that lesson by herself, the hard way. And it was the last lesson she ever learned. Yeah, this is pretty much the more haunting version of grave words I was talking about. Seeing this man overdosing as the sirens blare in your ears in this PSA is just disturbing. And seeing him have a mental breakdown when he gets to the hospital. Never believe the lies people might tell you about cocaine. None of it is true, and it will only lead you down a path you will regret.
It's the freshest feeling, the coolest high. So pick up some heroin and shoot for the sky. Everybody's doing it, doing it. Everybody's doing it. Glamorous parties, a night on the town with beautiful people. It's always around. Everybody's doing it, doing it. Heroin for the rest of your life.
Yep, this is the PSA I find to be better than its sister PSA, Cleaning Girl. I just think the visuals and song is more catchy. No hate to Cleaning Girl at all. I just prefer this PSA. And if it weren't for the gross visuals, I would have thought this was a commercial promoting heroin. Hiding something dark behind something lighthearted and whimsical isn't an uncommon trope, and this PSA shows that. Just because everyone's supposedly doing heroin doesn't mean you should.
Come on!
Wish I'd taken that shortcut through that empty parking lot. Wish I'd gotten jumped. I wish they'd broken my ribs.
Get out!
Put me in a hospital.
Here, mess him up. No!
But I didn't get jumped. I went to that party. I did meth for the first time. Now, all I do is meth. All I do is meth.
I wish my tire had blown out that night. I wish my car had skidded off the road. wish I'd broken my neck. I wish I'd been crippled. But I didn't crash. I drove to that party and I did meth for the first time. I did meth, and now this is my life. This is my life.
Yeah, I decided to group these two PSAs together for the sake of putting more PSAs I want to talk about on this list. These PSAs both have similar concepts, are differently played out, but they still lead to the same ending. In Jumped, this teenage man is on his way to a party, saying that he wished he'd gone jumped. And in Crash, this teenage woman is also on her way to a party, saying that she wished she had crashed her car. But plot twist? That didn't happen. They went to the party, and they tried meth, and now they're hooked. It's all they ever do now, and there's no turning back. The fact that they would rather die than get addicted to drugs really says something. Personally, I think I find Jump to be the scarier PSA, all because of that brick. Ugh, God. This PSA shows the side effects of what heroin or any sort of drug can do to your body, specifically your face. It makes you look lifeless, matted, ruined, a shell of who you once were. And when she pulls out her teeth, God, that's nightmare fuel.
Another lesson from my neighborhood. Do you know how to tell if mom is overdosing on drugs? If your mom shoots dope every day like mine, you can only help her if you know the signs of an overdose.
An overdose?
Yes, an overdose. Don't call the ambulance if you're in doubt, unless she shakes uncontrollably or foams at the mouth. That's an overdose.
Okay, that's an overdose.
That's an overdose.
You could find her on the floor or find her in bed, and if you know what to do, she won't end up dead of an overdose.
Really?
Yes, an overdose.
I don't know.
The signs of danger are simple to see. If she's twitching and seizing and can barely breathe, that's an overdose.
Yeah.
That's an overdose. That's an overdose. Mom always knows best.
Aww, a catchy song in the form of Sesame Street like puppets? What could possibly go wrong? Oh shit, this is about how kids can tell the signs of parents overdosing on drugs. They show us this dark reality in the form of a song. But what I find really saddening, what I find to be extremely saddening is that this is based on a true story. Josie, who is only 6 years old, mind you, had her mom tell you that shaking uncontrollably or foaming at the mouth are signs of overdosing. Her mother is a drug addict, and Josie might not know exactly what to do, so she can unintentionally cause her mom's death someday if she's not quick enough. Josie was forced to grow up too fast, like other children are, and no child deserves to go through something like this. Honestly, these PSAs are masterpieces. They seem comedic, but have a dark truth to them at the end, and I pray that Josie and her mom are doing better and they got the help that they needed.
Taking pills or barbs depresses the central nervous system. Misuse leads to loss of coordination, loss of sex drive, loss of memory, and the risk of falling into a coma. Drugs. Don't find out the hard way. Sniffing glue or solvents can cut oxygen to the brain. Without oxygen, brain cells die. Toxic substances like lead enter the bloodstream. Your head swims, then you lose consciousness. Drugs. Don't find out the hard way. If you share a needle just once, you risk getting infected with blood poisoning, hepatitis, and HIV, the virus that causes AIDS. All from one prick with a dirty needle. Drugs. Don't find out the hard way. Amphetamines cause a sudden rise in blood pressure. The heartbeat becomes irregular. Actions can become frenzied with violent mood swings, followed by complete exhaustion. Drugs. Don't find out the hard way.
Yeah, this group of PSAs from the UK can be seen as nightmare fuel, but what do you expect? They're from the UK, for crying out loud. They were messing around with their PSAs back in the 90s. That dog glitching out and presumably dying at the end of the first PSA. Disturbing. A fish gasping for air, which I assume and hope is a fake fish. Cruel. Those apples rotting. Disgusting. Although not the worst PSA featuring rotting through, that bug going insane and presumably dying at the end. Vile. All while the narrator is telling us the dark truth about drugs. These are some amazing metaphors. Disturbing, but that's what makes them good in my opinion. Yeah, I think the reason why I find this PSA sad and a little bit disturbing is that the kids we see in these pictures/videos look so happy, enjoying their lives as children until they grow up as drug addicts. It's just sad to know what these kids will become in the future.
I remember feeling really warm and peaceful. All my troubles seemed suddenly small. It was like I was being taken care of, like everything would be okay. I could just sleep and smile. That's what it felt like the first time I tried heroin.
Yeah, I think think this PSA might be a bit more saddening and disturbing than pictures, to be honest. The man in this PSA says that he feels comforted, says that he would be okay, says that all his worries were small, says that he could just be peaceful and smile. That's how he truly felt when he started using heroin. Now he's just in a deep, dark spiral of addiction, and the way his voice starts to crack at the end of this PSA, well, it seems like it's promoting drugs. This shows that drugs really are dangerous. Just saddening.
In advertising, they say one of the surest ways to get your message across is to put celebrities in your commercial. We hope they're right.
This PSA is a simple concept, showing a list of young celebrities that had their lives taken away way too early by heroin. They say that using celebrities in advertisements and PSAs helps boost your message, and in this instance, I think it worked.
In the Middle Ages, death by torture was an art form. One method involved placing a cage over you. Inside there'd be some rats. Soon, the rats would get hungry, so they'd dine on you. Whatever was left of you would then start to rot. Then, as you're slowly eaten alive, eventually you'd die. Today, people just take heroin.
Yep, this PSA does not shy away with showing the early method of execution by rats. Ugh. Although, it does make for a good history lesson, and that's coming from someone who's never really paid attention in history. But now, these days, there's a new torture method, that being getting addicted to heroin and drugs in general. Yeah, I think I'd rather take the rats, thank you very much.
I'm gonna try meth just once. I'm gonna smoke this just once. I'm gonna steal just once. I'm going to sleep with him for meth just once.
I'm going to try meth just once.
I'm only gonna try meth once. I'm not gonna be like that guy. Hey, look, I'm only gonna smoke meth once. I'm not gonna be like that guy. Look, I'm just gonna shoot up just once. All right, I'm not gonna be like that guy. I'm not gonna be like that guy.
I'm only gonna do meth once. I'm not gonna end up like that guy.
Yep, another two PSAs I decided to pair together. And I'll be honest, I like Montana Meth Project more than Partnerships PSAs. They get their messages across better, but that's just my silly opinion. So, let's talk about these two masterpieces. In both of these PSAs, the victims of meth says that they were only going to use it just once. And in one of the PSA's instances, says that they won't end up like normal druggies. Boy, were they wrong. I find the PSA with the girl to be a bit more frightening, since her little sister also spirals down the path of meth, following in her big sister's unfortunate footsteps. But the freak out the man has in the other PSA is also pretty disturbing, especially since he does become that guy at the end of the PSA.
Starbuck County 911.
I need help.
Where are you at?
Well, ma'am, I don't know exactly, but I'm freezing, and my girlfriend is freezing.
Mike, I want to help you so bad, hon. I want to find out where you're at.
My phone's just about to die. You're my last chance here. We're scared. Please help us.
As you might already know, this PSA is based off an actual phone call in 2005. A few days after New Year's Day, Janelle and Michael got lost in a blizzard, and what makes it worse is that they were both completely high on meth and thought people were after them. They tried calling 911, but they were so disoriented, and 911 had no idea what was going on, and they really wanted to help. But unfortunately, Janelle and Michael both froze to death before they could be rescued. Such a young couple taken away by meth is just depressing.
Everyone is Kevin Blake.
First thing a freshly sung. And there's no way music here.
PSA is saying if you take heroin, you're practically digesting bleach into your body is just, ugh. Although surely this would have made for a good TikTok trend back in 2020 along with Tide Pods. But someone had to say it. For those who don't know, that was sarcasm. Please don't cancel me. The fact that this makes your skin itch so badly to the point where you're scratching until you start bleeding? Yeah. Just another thing keeping me away from ever doing drugs. PSAs higher than scratching because, while scratching is frightening in its own way, as a slight germaphobe, these PSAs make me ill. Apparently when you take heroin, your intestines shut down and food and feces run inside them. What's worse is that the feces and urine are released in your sweat. And when we see the actor in this PSA lick his sweat after hearing that, ugh, yeah, I don't think I'll be eating anything for the next 2 days. Toilet rolls, on the other hand, is even worse when it comes to the disgusting factor. If you do heroin, you start shitting your guts out for days. Yeah, no thank you.
If you don't tell your children about the danger of drugs, you may find a problem staring you right in the face. A problem that won't go away, or even worse, one that does.
Seeing the once happy girl in this PSA go from that to a lifeless and soulless person because of drugs, it doesn't go away. Oh, wait, it does. Just in the worst way possible. And if you know, you know.
Get out!
This isn't normal. But on meth, it is.
Let's go! Let's go! Come on! On! Well, I hate to interrupt you when you need it, but you done spilled the soap.
This isn't normal. But on meth, it is.
They're out there.
Who?
Damn! They're everywhere! They're gonna kill me!
No, Anthony!
No! No!
This isn't normal.
No! Who are you?
But on meth,
Who are you?
it is.
I'll kill you!
Hey guys, you can do anything you want to me for your $50.
Well, what about her?
Sure.
This isn't normal. But on meth, it is.
Here we have the first campaign from Montana Meth Project on this list. Yep, this isn't the only one you'll see. In Family, we see robbers breaking into the house of a family and knocking out the dad while the little girl is crying while they steal their stuff in order to buy more drugs. In OD, we see a group of friends together while one of them is overdosing, and the scene switches to show that they're all meth addicts. In Shadows, we see that a young teen boy is seeing shadows around and even tries to attack his mom, assuming that she's one of the hallucinations. And probably the worst of the four, two girls make themselves prostitutes in order to get more meth. What I find really frightening about this PSA is that in the alternate cut, both girls are terrified, and one of them, the one who offered their bodies, told her sister to just close their eyes until it was all over. And the only reason they do this is because they're on meth.
Come on.
10 little Indians up there flying. One stayed up, then there were 9.
9 little Indians feeling great. 1 OD'd, then there were 8.
8 little Indians go for heaven. 1 fell out, then there were 7.
7 little Indians getting a fix. Hepatitis got 1, then there were 6.
6 little Indians pushing high. 1 got busted, then there were 5.
5 little Indians trying to score. 1 got a bad back, then there were 4.
4 little Indians on LSD. 1 freaked out, then there were 3.
3 little Indians sniffing glue. Took too much,
Then there were 2. 2 little Indians on a run. 1 of them crashed, left just 1.
1 little Indian popping red. Popped too many, then she was dead.
Acid, bennies, needles, pills. If one don't get you, the other one will.
The fact that we see 10 people either die or go to jail in one of the cases because they were addicted to drugs while such a catchy song is playing in the background is disturbing, to say the least. And I know I say that a lot, but it's for a good reason. The creepy visuals in this PSA really don't help.
If I had asked, what does meth do to your brain? Does meth make you hear voices? Or if I asked, can't you just stop doing meth? My mom wouldn't be asking.
What did you do? Oh, baby, hold on, please. Honey! Hold still, please. No.
If I had asked, how bad can meth really be? Can meth really change who you are? Or, if I asked, will meth put you in a place you never thought you'd be? I wouldn't be asking. How much am I gonna get for this?
If I had asked, if I try meth, will I become an addict? Or can you really lose it on meth? Or if I'd asked, will meth become the only thing I care about? I wouldn't be asking.
All right, can you load me up again?
If I had asked, will I lose control on meth? Can meth really make you violent? Or, if I had asked, will meth make me steal from my own family? I wouldn't be asking my brother.
Where's your money? Where is it? Give it to me! Give it!
Ugh, these PSAs are just nightmare fuel. In Deep End, we see that a young girl slit her wrist and her mother is trying to desperately help her, but she's freaking out too much to care. In Desperate, we see a man selling his own body to get meth. Also, a man getting raped instead of a woman in PSAs? They could have easily done this with a woman, but I'm glad they did it with a man, because it shows that men can also be victims, which we don't see a lot of every day. In ER, we see a teen girl on a hospital bed freaking out while the doctors try in vain to keep her calm, while it cuts to a flashback of a girl getting meth from one of her friends. And finally, in Loss of Control, we see an older brother tearing apart his little brother's room trying to find some money for meth. Yeah, I like the twist of Lost of Control when we see the druggie in his little bro's POV instead of the druggie himself. What did these folks know about meth? Not enough to know that it will drive you to the point of doing things you will very much regret.
As an emergency doctor, I've seen how ice is destroying lives.
Did you finish that report?
I've seen people who can't sleep for days. People smoke it, not realizing it can be so addictive.
No, Nick, please. Son?
Ice tears families apart.
I'm going out.
No, Nick.
Get off!
Some ice users dig at their skin, feeling like bugs are crawling underneath. And then there are the psychotic reactions. This can happen anytime you use it. Ice destroys lives. Don't let it destroy yours.
Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Oh, Australia, you never fail to freak us out, whether it's driving PSAs or drug PSAs. Yep, seeing the effects drugs can have on you in action to the point where you'll steal money and fight with your family in front of your own daughter, no less, to digging at your own skin, to the psychotic episodes. Ice and drugs, in general, cause nothing but trouble.
When I grow up, I want to be a teacher in high school. I would teach English and get married and have 3 children.
I reckon it would be great to be a fireman. You get to drive the engine and you get to go in burning buildings and save people and stuff.
I help Mum make scones and cakes. So when I grow up, I'll have a restaurant and all my friends will come there, and my mum and dad. I'm in the under-9s, and I'm a forward. And usually score a goal every match. One day I'd want to play for Australia if I'm good enough.
Authorised by the Commonwealth Government, Canberra.
Yeah, another PSA from the nation of scary-ass shit and effective PSAs. We see a woman getting raped in exchange for drugs, a man doing some kind of drugs in a bathroom, a mother and daughter fighting, which ends with the daughter running out of the house and the mother trying in vain to go after her, and what I feel like might be the most disturbing one, a man who had died of an overdose being put inside a body bag, all while we hear about their childhood dreams, which are now lost dreams that will never come true.
I love my boyfriend. We've been together since like 8th grade. He's my best friend. He takes care of me.
So, I get along alright with my parents. I mean, they're pretty cool. And I know they trust me. You know, they trust me.
Come on, Dad! Let me in! Let me in! Let me in! Let me in! I'm gonna kill you! Let me in!
I'm really tight with my friends. We do everything together. And whatever happens, they look out for me.
I'm really close with my mom. I always have been.
John, what are you doing?
Nothing.
No, what is
Nothing.
going on?
Leave
No,
me
you need
alone.
to stop.
I
No,
said
we
leave me
have to
alone.
talk to
Just
talk.
shut up!
She's just always been there for me.
No, please. No, you're gonna
I don't know. She's my mom.
Yep, yeah, another campaign from Montana Meth Project. And boyfriend, we see a man walking into the room with his girlfriend, who is crying, presumably selling her body in exchange for meth. And parents, we see a son trying to break back into his house while his saddened parents huddle together while crying. And friends, we see a group of friends take their overdosed friend to a hospital and just leave her there on the ground. Luckily, the paramedics run out and grab her. I'll admit, good on the friends for taking their overdosed friend to a hospital. But then again, respect taken back for just leaving her on the ground. And finally, in Mother, we see the son steal money from his mother to buy more meth while his mom tries in vain to stop him. These druggies say that their friends care about them and their boyfriend takes care of them and their parents take care of them and that they look up to their parents, but on meth, is that really true? Yikes.
This is where she used to be a cheerleader. This is the sink where she started pulling out her eyebrows. This is where her dealer raped her. This is where she forced her little brother to smoke it with her. And this is what I said when she told me she was going to try meth.
This is the school he dropped out of. This is where he beat up his best friend. This is what he used to dig imaginary bugs out of his skin. This is where he now spends 23 hours a day. And this is what I said when he told me he was going to try meth.
This is the store she got fired from. This is the house she broke into. This is where she started selling her body. This is the daughter she gave birth to 2 months early. And this is what I said when she told me she was going to try meth.
This is where he went into convulsions. This is the emergency room where he nearly died. This is where he smoked it again, right after he got out. This is where he hung himself because he said he couldn't quit. And this is what I said when he told me he was gonna try meth.
And here is the Montana Meth Project campaign that I think is the scariest out of all 4 campaigns I covered on this list. Jessica was kicked off the cheerleading team, raped by her meth dealer, and forced her little brother to smoke meth with her in a dingy playground. The man in this PSA, who I have heard people say was her little brother, did nothing to stop her from doing meth. Kevin dropped out of school, beat up his best friend, and was sent to a mental hospital for who knows how long for his actions. The man in this PSA, who people assume was the best friend he beat up, did nothing to stop him. Tracy started selling herself out to meth, which got her pregnant, and she had the daughter 2 months early. Crying. God. The woman in this PSA did nothing to stop her. Finally, Ben nearly died of an overdose, but didn't learn his lesson when he got out of the hospital, because he immediately started doing meth again. And because he couldn't quit, he hung himself. The man in this PSA said nothing or did nothing to stop him. Everyone in these PSAs said or did nothing to stop the victims of meth from getting addicted. Honestly, I don't know which one is scarier. Tracy because of the crying baby and the implications, or Ben because he killed himself. Congratulations, Montana Meth Project. You might have traumatized me for life, but you sure did get your message across. You do it in all your PSAs, making you one of my favorite PSA companies today.
This is my friend Rodney. This is my friend Rodney on heroin. This is Rodney on heroin. Rodney on heroin. Rodney on heroin. Rodney on heroin. Rodney. That was my friend Rodney.
The fact that a real actor that had his own life ahead of him died from a heroin overdose is just depressing. Tortured by heroin for months on end, and the monster that is heroin took his own life. I don't have much else to say except for this. Rest in peace, Rodney Harvey.
醒剤は家庭の主婦や青少年、サラリーマンを蝕んでいます。興味半分の一本の覚醒剤、それがあなた自身を廃人にしてしまうばかりか、あなたの家庭をも破壊します。
This poor kid. He lost his own mom because she overdosed on heroin. The kid's crying about losing his mother as she fades into the background at the end. Ugh, and that needle. God, the needle. I don't think I need to explain why this PSA is so high up.
Can we name her Chloe?
You want to name her Chloe?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Hello, Chloe.
Hi, Kataka! Come here!
Faster!
Don't let go, Charlie.
I said faster, Mommy.
Don't let go, baby. Hold on. Hold on.
Classic rock.
Charlie, breakfast.
Come in.
Good morning, sweetie.
Good morning. Charlie, stop feeding Chloe pancakes. See you later.
Don't forget your running shoes.
Got him. Yo, nice race, Charlie.
Congratulations, Charlie.
Here, take my hand.
That's it, that's it.
Charlie, stop! Stop it!
Enjoyment.
These, Charlie?
Come on, Charlie. This isn't like you.
Charlie, what are you doing? Get in here!
In the 3rd grade. You remember that? Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Charlie?
Yeah, just one sec.
Are you okay?
What the hell is this, Charlie?
I don't even know you anymore.
What are you doing with the mic? Get out!
Please, Charlie, it hurts.
No!
No! Charlie!
Hey, Charlie, wake up. You're gonna be late. Charlie? Charlie. No! I think my son just overdosed there. I don't know. He's not breathing. He's not breathing. Help! Please help me! Don't let go, Charlie. Don't let go. Hold on, baby. Oh, God! Charlie!
Charlie had such a good childhood, from having a loving family, a loving dog, many activities, many friends, and even a girlfriend. But it all went downhill when he started drinking alcohol and getting addicted to drugs. He turned against his family, his friends, his girlfriend, and it keeps going until he finally overdoses. And this is where it gets sad. Charlie's mom starts breaking down over her son's death, frantically trying to call the paramedics while trying in vain to wake up Charlie. It's already too late. And if that wasn't sad enough, flashbacks of Charlie's childhood flashes on screen while this is happening. What's worse, Charlie seemed like a genuinely kind-hearted guy who was corrupted by the demon that is drugs. Rest in peace, Charlie. This PSA, while sad, is incredibly effective, but there is one PSA on this list that has a similar concept, but takes it to a whole nother level. But before we get to that, how about a quick honorable mention?
It's yours?
No,
My mother said she found it in your closet.
I don't know. One of the guys must have...
Must have what?
Look, Dad, it's
Where
not...
did you get it?
Dad,
Answer me. Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
Parents who use drugs have children who use drugs.
Yeah, didn't have any room to place this PSA on this list, so I just stuck it with honorable mentions. The argument is just laughably stupid, ending with a line that I need to quote more often. Also, parents who use drugs have children who use drugs. Well, that is a possibility. That's not often true. You see why I prefer Montana Meth Project over Partnership now? But that doesn't mean Partnership's PSAs aren't effective. Not at all. And now back to our regularly scheduled program where I announce my number one pick for scariest drug PSAs.
You know, I just felt like real good, man. You know, I wasn't like racing, I wasn't speeding, you know. I was like mellow, and I mean, I threw up the first time and everything, you know. And after I threw up, I said, wow, this shit is like good. Yeah. You know, okay. You know when you used to go on a ride? And your adrenaline pumps. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
That's the feeling. Like that. And I had gangrene on my foot. That they almost took my foot off. I consider myself pretty intelligent. I could do whatever I want to do, man. Whatever I want to do, I could do. Like, threw up, man, my guts. And as I'm throwing up, I'm like, damn, boy, this is what I want. That's it. Why can't people just do that? Maybe everybody should shoot heroin and like just mellow out. Like, everybody's up there, right? No, it's But I got these tracks, man, all over my body. That pus was just coming out of the little hole here, like nothing. I used to do a lot of more things, you know, like I used to go to movies more. I used to I go out to restaurants. I used to go to Broadway shows. I like Broadway shows. They're nice, man. By the time 97 rolls around, 96 at this time, right, 1996, August 17th, 18th, whatever it is, you would come here with your cameras, and I'll be a totally different person. I'll be successful, and I'll bet my life on it.
Yep, this is the PSA that I consider to be the scariest drug PSA of all time, and I'm pretty sure nothing will beat that anytime soon. But I'm sure you could have guessed that if you saw my first video. So what makes this PSA scarier than Hey Charlie? Well, for starters, this PSA was unscripted. The drug usage, Lenny himself, that was all happening in real time. The close-up on needles not once, but 2 times? Yeah, I'm gonna puke. Lenny seems like such a nice man, but like anyone can be, he was corrupted. Despite all the damage heroin did to him, the holes in his body, the cellulitis, the scars, the gangrene, the sickness, he was still hooked, just like anyone on drugs would be. He says that next time he's interviewed, he'll be a totally different person. But a year later, when the camera crew came back, Lenny wasn't there, and nobody has seen him since. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Lenny's drug addiction really got to him, and he's no longer with us. Hey, Charlie was nightmare fuel, but at least I was just acting. This is real. And the fact that Lenny, a guy that had so much good ahead of him, presumably died, my deepest condolences. And there you have it, my top 50 picks for the scariest drug PSAs. Sorry this video is a little late. I was working on a video on my main channel and it took longer than expected. But no matter what, I always come back. Always. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like and a comment saying you enjoyed it. And if you want, why not subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss an upload? Spoiler alert, I've got a special video planned for July. Anyway, with everything out of the way, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you all next month. This is Kataka Heathrose signing off.